go first?
Whichever one pops up first. All right. Mine were cold calling, and what was my other one, Tingy? I don't remember now. That was me first. Sweet. Cold calling. Poppy! This room's soundproof. Cold call. You want to kick the intro off?
Yep.
Are we live right now? Oh, we're live.
We're live. Oh, boy. All
right. Okay.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into another edition of Tony and... Is it Tony and Boo or Boo and Tony?
I like Boo and Tony.
You got to go in alphabetical order. Boo and Tony in the morning. Guys, we are going to talk more real estate stuff. There's a lot of nonsense being spewed on social media, so we're going to get into some of these things. So let's just get started.
Jump straight into it?
Let's jump straight into it.
Let's go. Number one, realtors who utilize social media to generate leads, which social media does generate leads. Let's cover that really quick. Which platform do you have the most success with from Tony Acosta? We disagree on this one, too.
We disagree on this, by the way.
We disagree on this one strongly, and Facebook even patronizes me on this one. Facebook hates me. Let's get into that.
In my opinion, Facebook is king. But why is Facebook king? Because my demographic is on Facebook. So I predominantly work with older Hispanic families. That's my demographic. Most of my business comes from the Latino community. So Facebook is a much stronger platform for my demographic than an Instagram or a TikTok or anything else. And so I think it's not so much about which platform wins in general, but which platform wins for your specific demographic. And here you have to get clear on who you want to work with, who you're talking to. This guy doesn't like Facebook. It works for me. What do you say?
Listen, it's not that I don't like Facebook. It's that Facebook doesn't like me. I'll take the same video, put it on Facebook, and Facebook will patronize me and be like, hey, congratulations, you got 10 reactions on
That was hilarious.
That was literally the screenshot that I sent you yesterday.
Great job,
So
Chuck.
I think what Tony said is absolutely perfect. For me, I've had a lot more success on Instagram than I have on Facebook. YouTube has been working really well. And I think it's super important, if we're going to get into this conversation, to identify what success actually looks like on social media. Social media, if you were looking for somebody to DM you and say, hey, Tony, that house that you just put up, the 3-bed, 2.5-bath, 4,000 square feet in Lehigh, that's the house for me. Send me the contract. I'm ready to go. That's not what a social media win is. That's not what a generated lead on social media is. To me, we try to provide this context for all of our agents in this office every single day. Posting on social media is not in hopes that somebody, the 1% is going to DM you and say, hey, I'm ready to go. Send me the contract. The goal with branding on social media, to me, is different. To me, what it needs to look like is if you were walking through Walmart and you bump into one of your friends that you haven't seen since high school, and that friend goes, Tony, I just saw that you were a real estate agent. This is perfect. My wife and I are looking to buy a house. That's a lead generated from social media to me. So before you get into what is a lead generated from social media, you got to kind of tweak what you're looking at as a win on social media. Past that, I think it's really cool because we have agents posting on every single platform. Where did Sergio find that one lead?
On WhatsApp. WhatsApp stories.
I didn't even know you could post on WhatsApp. So I think it's super important to first tweak what is a social media win to you. But number two, you got to figure out, where are my people at? Who is my avatar client? Who is it that I want to be working with? And then figure out where they're at and start creating content for them.
And also, don't get overwhelmed by all the platforms, guys. Like, you don't need to be everywhere all the time at once. A lot of agents get overwhelmed because they're like, all right, I need to do Instagram, I need to do Reels, I need to do Facebook, then I need to do YouTube, but then I need to do LinkedIn articles, but then TikTok is really cool, and then what's the Snapchat thing? So don't get overwhelmed. I would just start with, where are the people that you want to talk to? And if not that, then the most basic form is, what's your favorite platform? What platform do you spend the most time on? Start there, improve your skills, and then you branch out to other things. If you try to be everywhere all the time at once, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to waste a lot of time.
And like I said too, change what a win is. I've had 5 interviews over the last week that have all mentioned the content that you and I are putting out. To me, that's a social media win. Did they DM me from YouTube or Instagram or something and say, hey, let's go and meet? No, they didn't, because there's better ClickFunnels platforms for getting people into your ecosystem. But every single one of them had seen the content, was very aware of what we're trying to do here at the Perry Group. And so to me, it was a massive social media win when those people came in the door.
It was, absolutely. Next one. Whew. Agents that, so this one, something like this gets posted like 37 times a day.
At least.
By the way.
At least.
So ever since we started this live, it's been posted 9 times. So agents that have sold 10 plus homes this year, where are your closings coming from? So this is agents that don't have a lot of business, say, hey, give me the silver bullet, tell me where to go, tell me where the treasure is, and I will go find it so that I can be successful. What do you say?
I think that what people don't understand, if you're producing at that level, it doesn't come down to necessarily where are your leads being generated from. It's what are you doing consistently in order to generate those leads. I think that that is what agents that are selling 10 plus houses a year have in spades that brand new agents do not have. See, what they're doing every single day is it doesn't matter what their pipeline looks like. It doesn't matter how many times they've taken a picture holding a key in front of a closing desk. What are they doing every single day? And it comes back to prospecting. That's what I think so many agents in this business are missing. 70% of agents are going to do 4 deals or less this year in our state. What does that mean that they're not doing every single day? Prospecting. So if you want to know what the true silver bullet in this industry is, it comes back down to one thing, and that's what every agent that is doing 10 plus deals a year is doing, that so many agents are trying to find a shortcut around. There's no shortcut in this business. There's no quick way, quick get out of jail free card. Hey, I don't have any closings coming up in the next 90 days. What do I need to do to get a closing in the next 90 days? Figure out your method of prospecting. Once again, going to what we just spoke about, where are your people? Are they shopping for open houses? Are they hanging out at their house so you need to go knock on their door? Is it a cold call? What is it to get in front of those people? Not just once or twice, and not just once or twice to fill up your database, but it's consistently every day.
Consistently. But here's the encouraging thing, that everything works. There are 12 deals no matter what strategy you use. There are 10 deals out there if you want a cold call. There's 10, 12, 15 deals out there. There's 12 deals a year if you want to go door knocking. There's 12 deals a year if you want to do events. There's 12 deals a year. Whatever you want to do, every single social media platform, if you dive in and do it right, there's 12 a year on Facebook, there's 12 a year on Instagram, there's 12 a year on YouTube. But you got to focus on the one thing. Don't try to be everything for everybody. So I firmly believe, and again, this is the most encouraging point, doesn't matter what you do, if you do it well, there are 12 deals there. It's not that many. But like you said, if you're only doing 3, 4, or 5, it's either because you're not doing enough, which I think is in most cases the situation, or you're doing too much of the wrong things, or you're trying to be everywhere at the same time, and you're not putting enough effort into the one thing that's going to get you to 10 to 12.
Well, and to me, if you don't have your next 365 days mapped out, if you haven't found your thing, to me, you need to have a two-pronged approach to this. You need to have a long-term play. For us in this office, that's social media and that's branding. It's not going to generate leads in month 1. It's not going to generate leads in month 2. It's going to be a 90-day minimum process before you start to see the rewards from that. So you need to have a long-term play, but then you also need to have a short-term play. And when I say a short-term play, I'm saying something that has the ability to generate you a deal in the next 60 to 90 days. Those methods have been tried and true for years at this point. There isn't something new. To me, it's door knocking, it's cold calling, it's open houses.
That's about it.
Those are your short-term plays.
But don't fight. This isn't about trying to break from the matrix, you guys. Just do the thing. It works. It's proven. Don't try to reinvent the wheel and fight the system. It works. It's worked forever.
Let's go, Tingy. Keep this thing rolling. Sitting in my open house and not one person has showed up. Ever had that happen?
Oh, multiple times.
Open houses are a huge waste of time. Ever felt that?
Yep.
How else are you finding clients? I think before we get into the how else are you finding clients, because we just covered that in detail, can we talk about how most agents are throwing open houses?
Yes. So I'm guilty of this. You know how many cookies I ate by myself, sad, depressed inside of a property? Here's what we do. If this is the 1.0 version, we'll go on social media on Thursday, and we'll say, hey, I'm doing an open house on Saturday.
DM me for details.
That's it. DM it. Come through. Come grab a treat. So what will we do? Open house is Saturday at 11 a.m. We'll get up at 9:30. We'll go to the property. We'll swing by the grocery store, grab a box of cookies, some waters. We'll show up 10:45, set up our stuff, our flyers, our cookies, our water. Looks perfect. Go on social media. Here I am. Come through. And then you sit.
And that's it. And hope. And don't forget the hope.
And
don't forget the hope.
If you're a rock star, you'll put up a sign or two. And if you're a superstar, you'll get a balloon or two. So if that's all you're doing, you guys, it's never going to work. And I think one of the reasons why people do this is because during COVID, that's all you had to do.
That's all it took.
You put one balloon and you had a line of people outside. But things have changed now. So we just went over this in team meeting just last week. There's a whole SOP on how to do open houses effectively to where you can actually generate business. And I think it starts with being clear on what the objective actually is. What are you trying to accomplish by sitting in that property for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours?
And when does that SOP start? Because I think that was what caught a lot of our agents off guard.
A week in advance.
The SOP does not start 3 days before. It doesn't start 2 days before. It doesn't start the day before. To me, you guys, if you are not starting your open house prep Tuesday before your open house on a Saturday, you're completely missing the mark. You are completely missing out on the opportunity. In my opinion is you would be better to do an open house properly for 2 hours on a Saturday than you would to be doing it completely wrong for 6 hours on a Saturday, sitting around with that strategy that you just discussed and hoping that something comes from this. So you need to be starting this 4 days, 5 days in advance. What does that look like? You need to be getting your marketing materials done ahead of time. You need to be creating content not the day before, but 4 and 5 days before. You need to be having a mapped out place of where you're going to put your open house signs. You need to be making sure that your sign-in sheet, everything like that is ready to go ahead of time. Because if you're trying to do that 24 hours in advance or the day of, it's not going to work. And past that, I don't think that there's a bad day to do open houses. If you want to do it on Super Bowl Sunday when no one else is doing it, I think you're going to stand out. Sure. To me, when I was selling new construction, we used to be closed on Memorial Day, Labor Day, those Mondays. Those were my best days ever. I remember my very first Memorial Day sitting there. I went and put signs up on all the other open houses when no one else was working on the model homes and said, hey, this model is closed, but this model over here is open. I wrote 4 contracts that day.
That's key. So it's just getting out and doing more work. I think that whenever you have a strategy, you guys, where you have to get lucky, it's a bad strategy. If you have to get lucky, cross your fingers that the buyer that loves the house and writes a contract on the spot that is unrepresented, pre-approved and ready to go. If that's the game plan, if that's the strategy, you're lost. So how do we make this a skill game versus a luck game? And it's with all of those kinds of things. What are you doing in advance? Are you door knocking? How are you getting the word out? What's your social media strategy? So if you're going to do open houses, sit and plan at least a week in advance so that, again, you don't have to get lucky. You can rely on your skill set more than just the random thing.
And I think that this comes back to ultimately one thing. Are you prospecting for the sake of filling up time, or are you prospecting to actually generate deals? Right. If you're not prospecting to try to generate deals, go spend that time with your family. Go watch football on a Saturday, because I think that you will be more refreshed at that point than feeling like whoever this agent is to say that open houses are a waste of time. Do open houses suck?
Or do you suck?
Or do you suck?
And I'm empathetic for this guy or gal or whoever it is, because brokerages don't train this.
They don't.
They don't. It's just, oh, great, go do open houses. Well, what does that mean? Dive in a little bit deeper, and you'll actually start to have some success.
And if you don't feel like you have those standard operating procedures in place, I am more than happy to share the standard operating procedures that we have in place. I'll send it over to you. Comment down below, open house standard operating procedures or something like that, and I'll make sure that we email it over to you.
Love it. Next up, all right, I'm going to give you this one. My broker says that I'm not allowed to cold call.
Do we think that means cold call?
Yeah, or just call every Cole
every
in
person
the county.
named Cole.
I don't know. How else can I find clients?
Can I say something mean?
You can say whatever you want. Here we go. This is going to be clipped, by the way.
This is how I would go about that. I would move brokerages.
Why?
If your broker doesn't want to let you do one of the 3 established prospecting methods that we just talked about, for whatever reason, some cold call person hurt his feelings at some point, some cold call person called them at the wrong time, I get it, it happens, it's part of it. But if you are going to say, hey, you are not allowed to do this prospecting method, if I ever do that, you can take my spot because I'm out at this point. So before we get into anything else, my advice to you would be find a different brokerage that isn't going to stop you from doing 33% of the possible lead gen short-term options out there right now.
And I think that's a big mistake that brokers make coming from broker land. We want our agents to do things the way we do them. So instead of helping agents just have a versatile skill set or something that caters to their skill set, I'm trying to create a bunch of mini-me's. I think that's the wrong strategy. I guarantee you this broker doesn't believe in cold calling. Maybe they, like you said, they did it, it didn't work. They don't believe in it. But they don't have that skill set. But maybe that's the perfect strategy for that agent. And by them saying, I don't allow you to do this, you're cutting their legs off from under them, because maybe you say, go do social media instead, and they hate it. Or maybe you say, go do this, go do that, and that's not the strategy for them. What I love about our office is we have agents that generate business in a bunch of different ways. People that do social, people that do the door knocking, people that are really good at open houses. It's not about me and you trying to be me. It's about what is best for you.
See, I go the opposite way with this. I don't provide lists because I don't want people just cold calling one very specific list. I want us to try every single prospecting method that is out there. Not because I think every single agent needs to be doing every single prospecting method in order to be successful, but what I believe is that your specialty is going to be different from my specialty.
Exactly.
I almost want our office to feel like the intern year at Grey's Anatomy. I know, I'm making myself sound funny by saying this, but as I was watching that show with my wife, I was like, okay, wait, I think that there's some nuance to this. I think that there's a point to be made in this, that just because somebody comes in and thinks, hey, I want this to be my specialty, that might not actually jive with you. And to me, there's two different ways that you should be picking what your go-to prospecting method is. Number one, you should be tracking it analytically. You should be looking at it by the numbers and say, I knocked 50 doors and I had 4 conversations that turned into 1 lead. Versus I did cold calling and I talked to 50 people and I had 15 conversations and that turned into 3 potential leads. Analytically, you can see very quickly which one that you should be focusing on. The other portion of this that I think agents don't take into consideration enough, what is it that energetically feeds you? If you cold call and it's somewhat successful for you, but you feel drained and exhausted and pissed off at your kids by the time you go home in the morning, find a different strategy. Figure out a different way that energetically feeds you as an agent that helps you be more successful in the long run.
And when you understand those numbers, it takes a little bit of trial and error, but once you get to the point, like Boo said, where you have those numbers, now like we talked about previously, now you eliminate luck. Now it's not a luck game, it's a numbers game. If I know 50 door knocks, 4 contacts, 1 contract, now it's a numbers game. So if then you just reverse engineer, I want 10 closings, 12, 15, now you have a number to hit.
Now how many conversations do I have to generate versus how many doors do I have to knock? And if at any point, this is where there's 2 parts of it. There's how many leads can I generate, but then if my conversion sucks, if I'm really good at starting those conversations, but those conversations are not turning into conversion, then us as a leadership group know exactly where we need to be spending our time training, and that's on the conversion process of this, not on the lead generation portion of this.
So again, you guys, eliminate luck. Luck is not a strategy. Luck is not a strategy. Was that all 4?
That was all 4.
That was all 4. All right, guys. Hey, any questions that you guys have, drop them in the comments. We're going to keep scouring the internet for BS from agents.
You say scour like we have to work hard to find these.
They're all over the place. But they're on Facebook because Facebook is king, my guy. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you.